is Mrs. Perez, and I've got a teeny tiny little book to read to you today. This is called The Tale of Peter Rabbit, and it's written by Beatrix Potter. I sure love the way Beatrix Potter wrote this story, and she uses such vivid descriptions, and the illustrations are so sweet. Well, I'm going to go ahead and read the story, but I'm going to read this version. It's also called The Tale of Peter Rabbit, and it's based on Beatrix Potter's original story. This one's more like a summary, though, and what that means is that the characters are the same and the events of the story are the same, but it's just a shorter version. And plus, you can see these illustrations way easier. The Tale of Peter Rabbit. Can you see Peter right there? That's him. He's wearing the blue jacket. The Tale of Peter Rabbit. Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter lived underneath the root of a very big fir tree. Their mother, Mrs. Rabbit, was going out. "Don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden," she said. So she gave them very specific instructions. Are they supposed to go into the garden? No. Do you think they will obey their mother? But naughty Peter ran to Mr. McGregor's garden and he squeezed under the gate. Did Peter obey his mother? No, he did not. First, he ate some lettuces and French beans, and then he ate some radishes. Uh-oh, look in the garden. Do you see Mr. McGregor? Will he see Peter? Mr. McGregor saw Peter. He chased him around the garden calling, "Stop, thief!" Do you see him there with that rake? Stop! Poor Peter ran into a gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket. Oh no, I wonder if Mr. McGregor will catch him now. Peter wriggled away, but he left his jacket behind, and then he hid in a watering can. See Mr. McGregor's hand back there? He's getting close. Presently, Peter sneezed. Kerchoo! Mr. McGregor was after him in no time. Uh-oh. I see Mr. McGregor's foot. I hope Peter can hop away. Poor Peter was lost. He saw a white cat with a twitching tail, and he crept past her. Suddenly, he heard the scratch noise of a hoe. And there was Mr. McGregor, and beyond him was the gate. See Mr. McGregor in the garden? Look beyond him. That's the gate. Peter must run past Mr. McGregor to get to the gate. Peter ran as fast as he could, slipped under the gate, and was safe at last. Whew. Thankfully, huh? His mother put him to bed with a dose of chamomile tea, but his sisters had bread and milk and blackberries for supper. Oh, so Peter had to go to bed early with no supper. Do you know why he was put to bed so early? Because he didn't obey his mother, did he? This kind of book right here makes me think about the moral to a story, or the lesson that's supposed to be learned from the story. And I think that the lesson here is that we should obey. You know, your parents and your teachers give you rules and tell you no in order to keep you safe because we care about you and we don't want you to get into any trouble or get hurt. So remember that we should always obey because it's for our own good, isn't it? All right, friends, I'm going to teach you how to draw Peter Rabbit. So meet me back here with a pencil, some crayons, and some paper, and we will draw Peter together. All right? Ready? Go! Hop to it! Okay, I'm back. I have my supplies, my paper and crayons, and you might want to have a pencil too. That way, in case you want to erase some lines, you can do that. But I'll go ahead and draw with my crayon so you can see my markings pretty clear. All right, I've went ahead and I put my paper the tall ways, like a tall building. And we're going to start drawing Peter's head toward the top of the paper. But you don't want to put it too far to the top because you've got to make room for his ears. So I'm going to leave like a little space and then come down, and I'm going to draw a circle for Peter's head about the size of maybe like a small ball, all right? And then from there, we'll go up and then come back down for one ear, and then let's draw the ear on the other side, same way. And then I like to put the insides of the ears because I'll be coloring those pink later. All right, let's go ahead and put Peter's face on. So we'll do an eye. So a little oval for the eye and a little circle inside. And now Peter's nose is going to be a little triangle. So you make an upside down triangle for Peter's nose. And then for his mouth, we'll make a J. And then we'll go the other way. And you can put some little dots and some whiskers. Now, we're going to go ahead and draw Peter with his blue jacket on. So here's how we'll do that. Right down here at the bottom of the circle for his head, you're going to draw a straight line going across. Make sure this line touches. This is his jacket, okay? Make sure it touches his head. And then we're going to draw a line down. We're almost going to draw a square, but I'm going to go ahead and do the inside line for the jacket. So we'll do that first, and you'll see how it's going to start to look like a square in a second. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw another line down, and then this is the other side of his jacket. Once we start coloring this, you'll be able to tell better that it looks like a jacket. Let's draw some of those brass buttons that he had. That's what made Peter's jacket get caught on the gooseberry net, right? He had those two buttons. Now we've got to draw his arms. So I like to draw a rectangle for the arm and another rectangle on the other side. And then let's draw Peter's little paws. So there's one. It's just a little circle. I like to put his little toes right like that, little lines for his toes. Here's another little circle, lines for his toes. Now we're going to draw Peter's belly, all right? So he wore a jacket, but he didn't have any breeches on. All right, so here's Peter's belly. Okay, you're just going to make a round line from one edge of his jacket down and back up to the other. All right, and then let's draw his big floppy feet. There's one, put those toes on. And then there's two. And we've got to draw his fluffy tail. His tail's on his backside, but we'll just draw a little puffy tail like this, as if you can see a little bit of his tail. How's that? Okay, so that's what Peter looks like. He's got his head and his ears. We made the details on his face. To make his jacket, we made a line and almost made a square, not quite. We made a rectangle there, and then we did the same thing on the other side. And this is what you'll color blue, right? All right, and I'm going to show you my finished picture of what Peter looked like whenever I colored him, because I'm going to show you how you can put some more details on your page to look like this. See how I made a fence behind Peter? And then I colored it in. You could even draw some carrots or lettuce if you want on the ground there inside the garden. But let me show you how I did that. So here's Peter once I finished coloring him. And then I'll show you how. I'm going to tape this over here so it doesn't move. I'll show you how I drew that fence. Okay, well, let's draw the sun because that's super easy. We'll draw the sun first. So circle for the sun. You can color that in later. And then we've got to establish the ground, okay? So I'm going to just go right about here so I can color some green for the grass. So I'm going to draw a little line across because this is going to be the grass. And now to draw the fence, I just drew some rectangles. And let me tell you a little tip. If I were you, I would go ahead and color Peter first, like I did, before you start to color the background. That way it's easier to see which parts belong to Peter and which parts belong to the fence or the background, okay? So you color that in, and then here's how you can draw the fence. Draw some tall, skinny rectangles. There's one. Here, I'll draw one here. Okay, and notice that there's a space between Peter's arm right there. So I'm going to finish that rectangle down. Okay, how about I draw a rectangle here? And then again, I've got to continue. Peter's standing in front of the gate. So you have to imagine that this is the whole fence post, okay? Coming down like this. So you want to finish that line coming down, all right? And then same thing over here. There's his hands in front of the fence, but you've got to finish drawing the fence post, right? And then how we draw the horizontal lines, I just go like this and go across. I'm just continuing the same line. See how I do that? I'm imagining that that line just continues, okay? And then I'll put one here and make that line continue, all right? So we've got the fence post coming down, and then here's one slat going across. Let's do another one going across. So I draw my lines going across, okay? And Peter's standing in front of the fence. See that? All right. Now when you're going to color this, you want to focus on the spaces. So I used my regular blue for Peter's jacket, and then I'm taking my turquoise blue to color the sky. And see, this is a space, and this is a space that the sky would show through. And this is a space. And then this is a space that the sky would show through. And then I would continue coloring around the fence post and around Peter. See that? How's that? Now you don't have to draw these details. You could keep your Peter picture like this and color it in. But if you want to add some more details, you can go on and do that and then color it. And once it's done, maybe you can get it hung up on the refrigerator since you did such a great job on it. All right, well, I'm going to hop away for now, but I'll come back with another book about an Easter rabbit very, very soon. All right, if you want to post your pictures for me, I would love to see your finished pictures. Thanks. I'll see you later. Bye.